Hello everybody, thanks for joining us today for our TracerPlus email and text reporting webinar. My name is Howie Heckman, one of the developers here at PTS. I'll be walking you through some of the messaging features within TracerPlus, how to maybe add messaging to existing applications that you guys may have already configured, or just taking a look at some of the applications we have on our website to add email and text messaging. Okay, so for today we're actually going to go over, again, messaging within TracerPlus. So how you can go ahead and add the messaging features to your TracerPlus desktop projects, how you can kind of customize the look and feel of those email formats and text messaging, and also how to send out SMS messages or even just emails based on certain field data so that you can kind of get a notification type message. So maybe it's only sent when particular things happen on your form or things like that. So we'll be going through all of those settings today, and hopefully at the end you guys will have a pretty good understanding of setting up email within TracerPlus and TracerPlus Desktop. One thing to note is that some of the features here, the setup here, it's pretty similar to our printing functionality in how the formats are set up. So they're both kind of laid out through our XML print format files, and it's very similar within the email, except for a couple slight changes as to how you change the look and feel of the email as well as the print format. Okay, so some of the software you'll need for today's webinar, as always, TracerPlus Desktop, the design tool where you can search our online library of applications to maybe download a new one to play with, and to also configure the messaging within your project. Then you'll need the TracerPlus mobile client installed on any of the mobile devices you have connected to your PC, and also a text editor just so you can modify the email format so you can change the look and feel of that. Okay, so with that said, I'll jump over to the actual demonstration here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up TracerPlus Desktop. Okay, and I'm going to open up TracerPlus Desktop 7 here. And when this opens, I'm actually going to today download a pre-existing application from our Online Solution Center. It's a good spot, as always, when you're testing new features, just to get a pre-built application or maybe make some changes to it. You could also, of course, use something that you've maybe configured in the past, just to add the messaging to those applications. But for today's webinar, I'm going to actually just jump into the online samples. So to access that, once you open up TracerPlus Desktop, you just click on the Search Online Samples here, and it'll come up with a category view of some pre-built applications that we have available on our website. For this demo, I'm going to go ahead and download a route accounting application, and I'm going to send some add messaging functionality to one of the package tracking and delivery applications here. I'm going to go ahead and select the Speedy Joe's package tracking on the bottom. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and finish the import process. When this is done, it'll open up the application within TracerPlus Desktop. Okay, just hit finish, overwrite if you already have it. Okay, and from this project, after you're done with the import, you'll notice that there's two sessions configured. There's a receive session and a delivery session. And the way this project's set up, the receive session is when packages maybe get dropped off at a location and you want to scan them into your inventory. And then the delivery session is used so that you can actually bring the package to who it's going, to the person that its final destination, and then collect a signature and track when that package was delivered. So right now, after downloading this from our website, it's not really configured for messaging or printing or anything like that. So we're going to actually add that functionality to the project within TracerPlus Desktop. Okay, so to do that, you would pick the session that you want to add messaging to. In some cases, it may be all of the sessions, but I'm going to go ahead and add it to the delivery session. So I want to, in this scenario, set up as the package is scanned and a signature is collected, I'm going to have an email sent out to a particular email address just to show that that package was delivered, maybe the information about it. Now this data can still get posted back, or it still will be posted locally to the device's database, so that you can later sync it to an Access database or an Excel spreadsheet or something like that. But it's also, at the time of submitting it to the TracerPlus database, it's going to send out that email notification. So to start, the first thing you do is jump up into the session settings here, and just below the printer settings there's messaging. So you're just going to want to go ahead and select messaging from this list here. And now basically all you really want to do to get this up and running is turn it on. So as usual, some of these other settings in the session settings area, you just go ahead and enable the feature. Okay, and now I'll go through some of the settings here for getting the email set up, but this is pretty much all of the configuration for getting messaging working from within TracerPlus Desktop. So the first option that you have here is the email report. Now if some of you have sat in on the print webinar, it's similar to the reports in printing. So you're selecting the file here that kind of defines how the print is going to look, or how the email is going to look when it's sent. So we'll get into in a little bit how that's modified and how you can kind of change some of those settings there. But for this, to start here, I'm going to select the email sample, and this one should be provided with everyone's install of TracerPlus Desktop. Okay, so then right below where you're selecting the report, there's some options here for determining and setting up what data is sent in the email, as well as when it's sent. So the send what option here allows you to choose from all records, current record, or prompt for filter, and that really just allows you to specify what within that email, or which records within your TracerPlus Desktop session are included in the email that's being sent. So for this one, I'm going to just leave it as current record, because I'm going to want the guy out in the field to scan the package, collect the signature, and then send the current record that they're working on in an email to some recipient. Okay, so I'll leave that as current record. Then down below you have the send message automatically and send on submit. Now these two options are really set up for if you want to be able to send an email immediately after that record has been submitted to the TracerPlus database. So just imagine you're out in the field, you scan that package, you collect a signature, and then you hit save or the submit button on your form. When it's set as send on submit, it's actually going to then go ahead and push that record that you just saved to send it out as an email. Okay, so for this one here, I'm actually going to do the send on submit, because I probably want to send that every time that I scan a package and collect a signature. Okay, this filter down here, send on submit if, this will allow you to send or automatically send a message based on some value on your form. So a use case for this would be maybe something like an inspection, and you want to send out an email to somebody to alert them of maybe an inspection that failed. So let's say you're going through the inspection, and finally at the end of the inspection you mark that the particular item that you're inspecting has failed the tests or whatever it may be. You can use that value to say, okay, at that point you have to send an email, and it'll send it automatically. So if the item happened to pass inspection, it won't send an email. So that's kind of where that comes into play. That is very useful if you're setting up things like the text messaging alerts. So if you're in TracerPlus and you're filling out an inspection, you don't want to maybe send in a text message every single time you do an inspection, but maybe only if some piece of data within that inspection requires attention of somebody. So then it would send the text message. So for that, now I'm going to actually leave that blank so that it just sends it all the time. Okay, then on the right hand side here we have the message account settings. Now this is telling TracerPlus what type of message to send, either an email or a text message, and then how it's going to be sent and to who it's going to be sent to. So from the first type drop down, again, you can just select email or text message. For this demo I'm going to send out an email, but just to show you the text message, if you switch to text message, it will leave you with two fields here, the recipients as well as the subject. Recipients in this case would be a phone number. Subject can be a static value that maybe gets sent through in the text message, so that value is always the message that's being sent from TracerPlus, which then can be overridden based on what's in the email report. But for the demo today, I'm going to go ahead and set up an email message to be sent every time a tracking number is scanned and signed for. Okay, so the first thing you have to configure after the email is the sender account. Now this is probably the most important, or one of the most important settings here. this actually specifies on a Windows Mobile or Windows CE device which account you want to send the email from. Now, if you're familiar with setting up email accounts in Microsoft Outlook or Pocket Outlook on the device, one of the options you have when you're setting up that account is the account name. Now, that account name, whichever one you specify, is what you're going to place in this field here. So maybe it's something like work email, or something that you configure when you're setting up your email account, so that TracerPlus knows which mailbox to send from every time the message is sent out from within TracerPlus. Okay. The other option, which I'm going to use today, is an account available on all Windows Mobile and CE devices, and it's the ActiveSync account. Okay. So if you just spell out ActiveSync here, this account is tied to your ActiveSync sync settings with the device. So if you're familiar with, every time you put the device in the cradle and that ActiveSync or Windows Mobile Device Center window pops up, it does a synchronization back and forth between, based on your settings, but could be files, could be your calendar, and as well as it can also be the email. So if you set this to ActiveSync, every time you put the device in the cradle or trigger a sync with your PC, it's going to use that account to send the email. So you'll actually notice when I save TracerPlus data that this Windows Mobile Device Center window here will show a sync, and then the email will be sent. Okay, so I'll set that as ActiveSync. Then the recipients here, this can be a comma delimited list of email addresses, and this is if you want to use a static list of recipients, so that it's always going to the same spot. So I'm going to start by in the demo here by configuring a static recipient, and then later on I'm going to show you how you can make that dynamic so that you can, on your TracerPlus form, enter an email address and have it sent to that particular user. Okay, so for this case I'm going to enter Speedy Joe here at TracerPlus.com, and don't worry, this is going to be a temporary email address, but Speedy Joe at TracerPlus.com. He's going to be sent an email every time the package is scanned and signed for. Okay, and then let's set a static subject, and we'll just call it delivery. Now the subject, just like the recipients, can also be set through the email report, so that the subject can be something tied to your TracerPlus data rather than just this static delivery value here. Okay, so the last option in the account settings here is sending data as an attachment. Typically, if you don't have this checked off, your TracerPlus data is going to be embedded in the body of the email. So the email, when the user receives, or the recipient receives that, will open up the email just as they normally would. They'd see all of the data there. But you can also send data as an attachment with a specified file name. So this is important if you have maybe some kind of processor on the email receiving side, so that you can grab that attachment from the email and maybe do something with that data. So you don't necessarily just want to read it through your Outlook or email client. You may just want to grab that text file and do something with that data. For this demo here, I'm just going to add it as the body of the email. Okay, so that should be it for the overview of how you would configure the messaging. What I'm going to do now is actually jump over to, or I'm going to deploy this to the device and show you how this works kind of in real time here. So I'm just going to go, as always, just to my build deploy option here. I'm going to push this down to a connected device I have on my PC. Okay, it goes through its deployment process. I'm going to open up the screen share I have for this connected device. Okay, you can see once the project has been deployed, you can see the sessions or the forms on this within TracerPlus here match the two sessions that I have in TracerPlus Desktop, the receive and delivery. And now I'm just going to go through and show you guys how this Speedy Joe's application is set up, and you can see the email being sent out. Okay, so here I'm going to jump into the receiving packages form, and I'm just going to go ahead and maybe key in some values here. Let's just say tracking number 100. I'm going to jump down and select a carrier. Okay, deliver to, I don't believe I populated anything in this here, but let's just say it is being delivered to John Smith. Oops. Okay, and then just submit that. So this is a pretty basic setup here. It really just allows you to scan tracking numbers and then collect and enter who they're supposed to be delivered to, the final recipient. Okay, but you can go ahead and I'll add a second one here. Leave it as FedEx. All right. And then let's say this one is going to Joe Williams. Okay, and then I'll submit that. Okay, so I have a couple of records here on my device. I had some already added, but I just received all of the packages at my home office. Now what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and deliver these packages. So I'm going to go ahead and select the delivery form, and on this form I'm going to go ahead and scan the tracking number again, and what it should do is look up some of the information about that tracking number, so some of the stuff that we've collected when we received the delivery. Okay, so you can see it's supposed to go to John Smith. It captures things like the date, time of when the package is going to be delivered, as well as who delivered the package. Now, if we were using user logins within TracerPlus, this field here would be filled in with the user ID rather than this one PDA ID here. Okay, so then you just want to go ahead and jump over to the signature form. Tap on this signature field here. It brings up the signature pop-up. Okay, you can go ahead and collect a signature. Hit done. Maybe print the name. Okay, so then I'm just going to go ahead and hit submit here. Now when I hit submit, you'll notice one of the first things that we set up here is the send on submit, and because I checked that off, the messaging prompt comes up within TracerPlus here, so you can review some information about what you're going to send at this point. Or just go ahead and hit send, and it's going to set based on what we said in TracerPlus Desktop. Now, an important thing to note too is if we had checked off send message automatically, that would not allow the user to change anything on this form, and it would basically just hit send automatically. So this pop-up would come up for a second and then disappear as the email gets sent. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and hit send. Okay, and it's going to save. You can see my record count went from 10 to 11. It's going to save that. And now you'll notice also at the top it's doing a sync. Okay, so it just went to, it just synced my Windows Mobile Device Center here. And I already received the email. So let me open up Outlook. Okay, and you can see here I have a message from Howie Heckman. The subject is delivery, what we added in the TracerPlus desktop settings. Okay, and then you can see here it has all of the information that was collected on the form. Now again, this is the default sample that's sent, so you can see that these labels here are just fields 1 through 10. It has the information that was captured on the right hand side. You also notice up on the top it has an attachment. And this attachment's neat because it's actually just the signature that was captured using the TracerPlus desktop form. TracerPlus form, I should say. Okay, and if you had additional fields that happen to be signatures, you would see those fields up on the top here. So you'd see attachment 1, 2, 3, and so on. If you were doing something like an inspection, a common setup using these email attachments is using the image capture or photo feature within TracerPlus. So as you're taking pictures, those pictures are also added as an attachment to the email and then sent out with that email so you can review those files. Okay. That's kind of a sample setup here, just default. I'm going to actually go ahead now and make it a little bit more interesting, I guess, in that I'm going to change some of these fields here so that the setup is a little more customized to our application. You can see we only have 9 fields of data. Actually, this might be a comment field, but we only have 9 fields of information, and these labels will go ahead and change to match what's in TracerPlus Desktop. Okay, so to do that, what we want to do is actually open up the TracerPlus email format file. And by default, the ones that are included with the installation are located in your My Documents TracerPlus desktop folder. Okay, so you'll see My Documents TracerPlus desktop. And then in the System Info folder here, you have both messages and printers. The messages are for anything that has to do with email or text messaging. The printers, which are similar, have to do with when you do a file print or something like that. Those are the print layouts when you're printing from TracerPlus. So in this case, I'm going to jump into the messages. These are the files that you saw in the drop-down for the format when you were configuring the TracerPlus messaging. So this email sample is the one that I used, and now I want to actually go ahead and change the look of this. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up in a text editor. Okay, and this is a TracerPlus desktop format file, and this is used similar in both the printing as well as the emailing of TracerPlus data. So you can see here some of the information just in in the text, that these are included in the printout just like you saw in the email messages. So as you can see here, PTS sample email. If I jump back to the email, you can see here's that string. Then you have fields 1 through 10 and the thank you on the bottom. And then you can see the 1 through 10 here with the variables, which is the TracerPlus data to the right of these. Okay, so basically what you'd want to do is, if you wanted to customize this, you can just jump in and go ahead and change some of the text. Okay, so say this one's to delivery verification, and change these just to match what you have within TracerPlus Desktop. So really, you're probably going to just jump over to the field settings here. I'm going to move this over. So you can see I'm just going to, instead of field 1, let me shrink this. Instead of field 1, I'll change that to tracking number. Okay, field 2, deliver to, and so on. So you're just going to marry up what you see in the desktop project to what is available in your print format here. Okay, I'll skip signature. It's field 5. I can probably remove field 5 since it doesn't really have any text data. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Field 6 is the name. Field 7 is comment. Okay, but you're really just going through and changing these values. Now, one other thing I want to do when I change this, I'm going to actually change how or who the email is being sent to based on our TracerPlus data rather than our TracerPlus desktop settings here. So from TracerPlus desktop, you can see we're sending this to Speedy Joe, but let's say we wanted to switch this around to maybe the guy that's receiving the package. You want to send an email to him, basically confirming the delivery as well as sending the attached signature to that recipient, so they can review that information if they had to. So what we want to do there is actually change the print format to include a couple extra variables on this field. Now I'm going to jump back to the desktop project, and I'm going to add a field here that will allow me to enter an email address. And when I enter that email address, that's who it's going to be sent to. So I'm actually going to take this name field, and rather than capturing the name, I'm going to switch this to email. Okay, so that's field 6. I'll switch that to email so that now the user can, as they're scanning these packages, collecting the signature, now they can enter an email address, and that data is going to be sent to that person. So I'll set field 6 as email. Okay, and what I want to do, and I'm going to grab this from another print format in, I believe, this subject sample. Everybody should have subject sample when they install TracerPlus Desktop. If you open, no, that one doesn't have it. Inspection sample. Oh, probably inspection sample. Yeah, you can see here in this inspection sample, down on the bottom, there's 2 variables here with different names. The names here in particular are message underscore subject and message underscore recipients. When TracerPlus sees one of these variables, and these are described in the TracerPlus desktop manual as well, just for reference if you need to go there. When it sees these variables, it knows that it's going to grab that field, which in this case is field 12, but in our case is going to be field 6. It's going to grab that field and use that as the recipient of the email rather than what you've defined in TracerPlus Desktop. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is grab the message recipients. I'm going to copy that, and then in the email sample, I'm going to add, let me take that whole row. Okay, I'm going to add that here, and I'm going to change the source to be field 6 to match what we have in TracerPlus Desktop. I'm actually going to remove field 6 here because we won't print the email address in the email, so I'll get rid of that. Okay, one other thing I need to do, you also have to just put that variable in the record area within this file. So here you can see in the record area I have all of the data that's being printed, but I also need to add this recipient here so that it knows to pass that value that was collected on the form to our print format so that we then know who to send it to. So what I'll do here is just add the variable with its name, and I'm going to put disable print equals 1. And if you watch the print webinar, you'll know that that basically means this variable is really just used kind of as reference to who this email is going to, and it's not going to add that value into the printout of the email or what the email data contains. Okay, so I'll just add that there, and it won't be visible to anybody. Okay, so I think that should be it for what I wanted to change here. I guess let me just finish up with the field names. Field 8 is delivered date. Okay, field 9 is delivered by, which is that big long PDA ID. Field 10, it doesn't look like we have a field 10, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that from the printout as well. Okay, so once you're done, you just have to save this. Okay, so we have an updated print format. So we went ahead and saved that. I'm going to manually copy this then while we have TracerPlus open, and you'll notice that the email will change. Okay, so I'm going to copy my email format that I just modified. I'm going to scroll down to my PDA here, and I'm going to copy it to almost the same location on the device that you opened within TracerPlus, or on your PC here. It's going to be My Documents, TracerPlus 7, System Info, and then Messages. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste this here, and I'm going to overwrite the old one. Okay, so now if I go back to TracerPlus, okay, and we're going to scan a new package this time. I scanned a 200. You can see that goes to Joe Williams. Okay, and if I jump over to signature here, I already signed this one here. Should have started from scratch. But in this name field now, I'm going to actually just enter an email address. So in this case, rather than sending it to the Speedy Joe, I'm going to send it to myself. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and submit this. Okay, so you can still see it's using the report sample. It still has this to speedyjoe@tracerplus.com. You can modify that as to send there as well, but it's also going to grab the email address from the format or from the TracerPlus data and send that to the recipient. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send here. Okay, it will go through a sync from Active Sync here, or Windows Mobile Device Center. And now you can see down at the bottom I received another email address. Okay, and then this time you can see all of the changes, but you can also see that the address came to me rather than in the previous one it went to Speedy Joe. Okay, it looks like I messed up my file name for the signature file, so it didn't include that. But you can see it did grab the different fields of information that I included in the print format, or the email format. So this is the delivery verification, the tracking number, deliver to. So it makes a little bit more sense than the first one here where we just had fields 1 through 10. But with a couple of those changes there, it matched our TracerPlus desktop project. And if I fix the signature file that's being sent over, it'll still include the signature within the email, so it gets sent as an attachment. Okay, and just the same, it would send an image file if that were included in this particular project. Okay, so let me just see how I broke the signature, and it's probably because I removed it from down here. So if I go ahead and add field 5 back to our email report, so I think field 5 is the signature. Field 5 is the signature. Okay. Field 6 doesn't act, that's actually the email address. So I'm going to remove that from this. Let's name this one signature. So I need to include the signature variable within the records area as well, so it knows to grab that data and place it in the printout of the email. So I'll go ahead and save that again. Okay, I will copy that back over to our device. So I'm going to go ahead and into the My Documents, TracerPlus Desktop, System Info, and then Messages folder. Grab this email sample that we've now modified, copy it, and just again paste it to the same location on the device. And you can do this, unlike some other files within TracerPlus, you can do this while TracerPlus is open and load it each time it attempts to do the signature. Okay, let me try to do one of these from scratch. Let's key in a new tracking number, pick a new carrier. This one's just getting delivered to Bob. Save that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and deliver this one to Bob. So key in the tracking number again. It looks up who it's supposed to be delivered to. I can now go ahead and collect the signature on this one. Okay, there's Bob's signature. I'll jump down to the name, and I'm going to key my email address here. So you can see this. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit submit and send. Okay, saved it to our TracerPlus database. In a second, once that sync happens, there I received the email, and since I fixed my signature file, I now have that as an attachment. You can see Bob signed for this. And it also, some of the additional information here that I had changed within the print format. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for what I wanted to go over today with messaging and the text messaging as well. I would like to recommend, if for additional detail on the print format here, since there's a lot of different options for the print format and what the printout will actually look like, to reference our webinar about printing. I believe Joe Crable did that for us, and he goes into detail of all the different options within the print format, and that would apply, other than these message recipients or message underscore subject variable names, that webinar in the print format specifically would apply to the print format in the email as well, so you can get more advanced and better looking layouts that are then sent as your email body or attached text file. But I do thank everyone for joining us today. I hope it was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you again in some of the webinars in the future. Thanks again.